So round 7, game 2. We're on the draw, and this is our opener. Now, I kept it, but looking back, I'm not so sure. Um, it doesn't have double white, which means you have to draw, another mana source that has to be white. But on the other hand, Jace is probably the best card in the matchup, and you have Jace and multiple shuffle effects. So I think it's justifiable to keep this because it is a slow matchup and Jace is that important. Um, and we're on the draw, so you can still hit one of your 12 accelerators. Well, now 8 post board, but instead we just draw back-to-back colonnades or something like that. Oh, it's deprived then a third colonnade. I played my colonnade that turn because there's no 3-drop he can play that I'm gonna waste a deprive on. There he just passes. Normally I would just pass back here, but I drew a second Jace, so it's okay if he counters. He just doesn't have anything, so I'm happy about that. Man, I have to go back. There's no rewind. It gets me every time. So I'm too lazy to inch forward, so I just hit play and then try and stop it at the right time, which is obviously ineffective. Alright. Inch forward. Okay, so I brainstorm because he doesn't have enough mana to activate a colonnade yet. So I might as well get some value out of it before he either legend rules it or O-rings it. And I draw Gideon, Forest, and a second Sovereigns. So the Conscription is obviously going back, and it's the first card I put back because it's the card I want to shuffle away. And then the next card is questionable. I put the Forest back. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to draw it right away, but it will matter what I do with it next turn if he didn't O-ring it, which he did. Here I play Gideon because now if I played Jace I would have to up it, otherwise he would just eat it with a colonnade, and then if I up it and he O-rings it or legend rules it, then I don't get any value out of it. So I'm going to play Gideon and up that to help protect my Jace from the colonnades in the upcoming turns. He spends his turn casting a Baneslayer, which is just, I'm so happy about that because Gideon just eats it and it doesn't threaten Jace at all, and it's just a great way for him to spend his turn in my eyes. If he like Mind Spring for 3 or played Elspeth or something, it's a lot scarier. But anyway, so I play Jace and obviously immediately brainstorm, so I get some value out of it if he O-rings it or legend rules it. I put back the Forest and I think a Knight or Sovereigns. I put back the second Sovereigns and play the fetch land after activating Gideon, of course. Now here I can shuffle away the second Sovereign if need be, or I can just draw it and re-brainstorm, because there's only one card in my hand that I really actively want to get rid of, and that's that Forest. So I can draw another card and brainstorm again and then shuffle. I can keep digging deeper and deeper with brainstorm until finally I find 2 cards that I'm unhappy with and then use my shuffle, which gives me the full value. And here I have a counter up so he can't just, kill Gideon and then eat Jace. If he had like O-ring deprived there, I would be pretty upset. Illegal attack, illegal attack. Yeah, you have to attack that Gideon. So I ended up cracking it there because I decided that the second Sovereigns was just that bad. And with Knights and stuff, I'm putting enough pressure on him that he needs to start doing things, and so I would prefer to have some cheap things like the cheap creatures or more counter magic rather than 6 drops that need a creature in play already for it to be good. Let's see. I brainstorm before anything because I know I'm going to brainstorm with Jace this turn, and so brainstorming first lets me have the most information available to me so I can make the most informed decision. Here I put back a land and the third Knight. Assassinate Baneslayer. Now he can attack with Colonnade and kill one of my Planeswalkers, but only one of them, and I'm okay with that. Because if he's going to spend his turn doing that, then I'm really going to just mess him up. Here he flash freezes, I could counter back, but it's not worth it. So I just play Noble Hierarch and leave counter mana up. It's important that I have 3 lands here, because if I only had 2, then he could go like Tectonic Edge, the Colonnade, and I would have just an island up, and then he'd go to his second main and play Mindspring or whatever it is. So something to keep in mind. Like if you have 2 basic islands, then it's fine. But if one of them's a non-basic, you have to be wary. Even if the edge isn't in play, if it's in their hand, they can slow roll it and really get you. So he chooses to eat Jace with Colonnade, which is fine. I'm still short of mana playing Sovereigns with counter backup, so instead I just play Knight after upping Gideon and pass the turn with 2 counter spells available. He pads it. Again, I could counter, but I kind of want the extra mana so that I can play Sovereigns and protect it with counter magic. But I should have gotten an island, I think, with the path, because it's unlikely that I'll need more than 3 white. Well, I guess I could need 4, or I could need 3, and he Tectonic Edge is one of them. But sometimes there are situations where you should be wary of what fetches are in your deck. For instance, if I drew my second Plains and then my Arid Mesa wouldn't do anything, but that gets overridden by the fact that I might actually need the white source. So here he activates Gideon and he activates Colonnade and has to attack Gideon. He's going to drop Gideon to 1,